Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa ala. The issue of the qadar, it has been addressed by the scholars, Muslim scholars. And the answer is there. The components of qadar, or the integrals of qadar: right, knowledge, writing, will, and creation. These are the four components that constitute the qadar. If you understand them all together, then the qadar issue, inshallah, will be clear in your mind. No Muslim will argue about the knowledge of Allah. Truly, a true Muslim. So Allah knows everything. Of course, apart from these deviant groups. If Allah doesn't know everything, what we do, that means He is ignorant. Can you attribute ignorance to Allah? Never. So He knows. Because He is the creator. He is your maker, and that is rational. When I made this, I know about it. That's how I made it. So I have to know. Otherwise, I'll not be able to make it in the first place. So knowledge is essential. And because I know these things, that's what Allah said. Based on His divine knowledge, He commanded the pen to write. And that is the writing. And the writing of the Almighty Allah has nothing to do, will never interfere in your choice. It will never interfere in your choice. Because Allah's writing, which is in the Lawh Mahfuz, the preserved tablet, it is unknown to you. Anyone saw the preserved tablet? Anyone read it? No one. And that writing will not be used against you. Allah will not on that day say, you will go to hell because I knew, and because I wrote. He will not use that writing. There is another writing which will be used against you. You know, there was a writing in the Lawh al-Mahfuz. They were writing when you were in your mother's womb. And there's another writing when you reach the age of maturity. That writing will be used against you. Will be identical, the same as the example of the headmaster or the principal. The principal came and he asked the teacher, what do you think, what do you expect the result? He said, this guy is smart, he's getting A, distinction, C, C+, fail. So now the principal said, I trust you. Announce the result without giving them a test. Those whom they failed, he will file a case against them in the court, and he will put them, the principal and the teacher, behind bar in the jail, right? He would say, sir, I studied. I worked hard. You didn't test me. But now, if the teacher wrote in a piece of paper and put it in the locker, in the drawer, this student is A, this student is B, this is C, this is fail. And the result came the same. Did the writing of the teacher interfere in the failure of the student? Tell me. It didn't interfere. So you failed because you didn't study, right? Similarly, Allah's writing because He knew, that's it. And that writing, He will not be used against it. There is another writing here on this day. The result, your piece of favor, came exactly as He predicted. There is another writing which the angel will write it after you do it, after committing that deed. That's why in the day of judgment, 12 paper will be given to you. Iqra kitabak. Read your book. Is there any mistake? Did the angel write anything that you didn't do? And you know what the kuffar would say? ما لهذا الكتاب لا يغادر صغيرة ولا كبيرة إلا أحصاها ووجدوا ما عملوا حاضرا ولا يظلم ربك أحدا. Why? How amazing this book. There is nothing that we didn't do except that it is jotted, recorded. Then no one will say, this thing I didn't do. No, you did it. You drank alcohol in day so and so at time so and so. You committed zina at this time. And you have to confess. And the amazing thing about people, we never found a person using the writing to justify his doing or his acts of righteousness. No one will say, MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah, we prayed Maghrib, it is maktub. Have you heard this? Have you heard the Muslim say, Alhamdulillah, I prayed Maghrib, it is written, which is true. You will find people using the writing as excuse only. When they do something wrong, you know what I can do, it is written. To justify their mistakes only. No one will say it is written, that's why I prayed Maghrib. It is written, that's why I read the Quran. It is written. So it is the nature of man to find a scapegoat, to find a way out, to justify his drawbacks. Okay? Now, the components, the will of God. If we say the will of man is independent of God's will, do you know what does it mean? That means I can do things against his will. And if you do things against his will, what does it mean? Tell me. He's weak. It means he's what? He's weak. That's why one of the Mu'tazila, one big towering figure, and he was pious, righteous. A Bedouin, you know the Bedouin? Those who they lived in the desert. He came and he tied his she-camel by a column, a pillar, and he went inside the masjid, and the thieves came and took the camel. So he came to the Sheikh and said, "Oh Sheikh, please pray to Allah that I get back my camel." So you know what the Sheikh said? He's one of the Mu'tazila. The brother is impressed by them, it seems. Okay, listen now. He said, "Oh Allah, Allahumma innaka lam tasha li naqati fulan an tusraq farudha alayh." He said, "Oh Allah, you did not will," listen, "you did not will for the she-camel of so-and-so to be stolen, so please bring it back. You did not will that to happen." The Bedouins said, "What an horrible sheikh you are. You are a stupid sheikh. You are very stupid sheikh. Now my camel, I will never have it again. I will never see my camel again." He said, "How?" He said, "Listen sheikh, do you know what is coming out of your head? You said, oh Allah, you did not will my camel to be stolen, right?" He said, "Yes." So he came to the Sheikh and said, "Oh Sheikh, please pray to Allah that I get back my camel." So you know what the Sheikh said? He's one of the Mu'tazila. The brother is impressed by them, it seems. Okay, listen now. He said, "Oh Allah, Allahumma innaka lam tasha li naqati fulan an tusraq farudha alayh." He said, "Oh Allah, you did not will," listen, "you did not will for the she-camel of so-and-so to be stolen, so please bring it back. You did not will that to happen." The Bedouins said, "What an horrible sheikh you are. You are a stupid sheikh. You are very stupid sheikh. Now my camel, I will never have it again. I will never see my camel again." He said, "How?" He said, "Listen sheikh, do you know what is coming out of your head? You said, oh Allah, you did not will my camel to be stolen, right?" He said, "Yes." So he didn't will for my camel to be stolen, and someone took it against his will. And he couldn't stop it, right? Now he wants to bring it back. He cannot, when he failed to protect it in the first place. He failed to protect it in the first place. How can he bring it back? And this Mu'tazili, he dropped no answer. You know the man, the answer from the man was fitrah. Fitrah. Because the Mu'tazila, the will, they understand it is only one will. And I'm sure the Sheikh mentioned two wills yesterday. The universal will and the legal will. Things they happen on this world with God's will. Nothing against his will at all. But either legally or universally. The universal will, which is irada kawniyah, this may be something he doesn't like. And maybe you ask, why does he allow it? There is a wisdom behind that.